Hey guys, so to begin with the code, we're going to go ahead and start by creating a new variable. So we're going to click on make a variable. We're going to use it for this sprite only, and we're going to go ahead and call this digits. We're going to go ahead and click on OK. And we're going to go onto the my block and create a block called numbers. We're going to click on OK. So this define block that we have, we're going to go ahead and start by going into our variables tab. We're going to set our digits to 1, and then we're going to set our divided by -260. You can go ahead and check off this digit bubble because we don't need it on. Underneath this, we're going to go on to control, and we're going to add a repeat 10. We're going to go into looks, and we're going to set size to 100, and later on you guys can go ahead and change the size if the numbers are too big or too small. We're going to go ahead and click on control and add a create clone of myself underneath, and then we're going to go ahead and go back into our variables. We're going to add a change digits by 1. Now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and go onto the yellow events tab and use when green flag is clicked. We're going to start by hiding it because we need to set up the actual code for this before we go ahead and continue the rest of it for the score. We're going to then go into the my blocks and add the number block that we've just created for it underneath. We're going to go into control and add a forever. And then inside of the variables tab, we're going to go ahead and add a hide. We're going to go ahead and change this to our score. Once we're done doing that, we're going to go ahead and add one last hide underneath. So now that we're done with that, we're going to go into the yellow events tab and add a when I receive start. We're going to go into variable, and we're going to set our score to 0. The last thing we want to go ahead and code is going to be how the actual score is going to work. So inside the control tab, we're going to use when I start as a clone. We're going to add a forever underneath. We're going to go into looks, and we're going to set brightness to 0. We're going to go inside the blue motions tab, and we're going to add a go to X and Y block. For the X, we're going to go ahead and use from our operators the subtraction symbol, and then on the left we're going to use the multiplication bubble. So starting from the left, we're going to go into variables and use our digit bubble. The next bubble is going to be 20, and the next bubble is going to be 210, and our Y is going to be 130. After that, we're going to go into control and add an if then else. For the diamond shape, we're going to go into operators and use our less than. For the empty bubble, we're going to use length of, and we're changing the apple to our score bubble. The 50, we're going to go ahead and change to digits. For the first bracket of our if then else, we're going to add a hide. On the else, we're going to add a show. And then we're going to add a switch costume to. From our operators, we're going to look for the letters of. And for the 1, we're going to go inside the variables tab and add the digit bubble. And for the apple, we're going to add our score bubble. Next, underneath the if then else, we're going to go into the blue motions tab and add a set y to. We're going to go ahead and go into our operators. We're going to add an addition bubble. Then on the left, we're going to add a multiplication bubble. Then on the left of that one, we're going to add a abs of, which we're going to go ahead and change to sine. So it's going to say sine of empty bubble, which we're going to add another multiplication bubble. On the left, we're going to go instead of the baby blue sensing and adding the timer bubble. Going to be multiplied by 200. Then that will be multiplied by 3. And then it will be added by 130. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the Blue Motions tab and add a point in direction. It's going to be a little bit similar to what we have here, so we're just going to go ahead and duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate it from the addition symbol so I have everything, and I'm going to add it inside the point in direction. However, the only difference for this one is instead of a multiplication, we're actually going to be using a subtraction. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to go into operators and add a subtraction bubble. We're going to change the sign to cos. So it should say cos of. We're going to go ahead and add the timer. Okay, sorry. We're going to take the subtraction. We're going to add the multiplication bubble, and then on the left, we're going to add the subtraction. So then we're going to go ahead and have the timer minus 2 times 100 times 10 plus 90. And with that, we're all done with our counter code. We're going to go ahead and move on to creating the player bubble.